Hi, this is Paul with Noisefirm. Today we're going to take a look at one of Logic's lesser-known features, the Save as Sampler Track function. It's a great way to inject new life into previously recorded audio parts, or uninspiring loops that you just have sitting around your computer. The first thing that we'll need is a piece of audio to turn into your new sampler instrument. It could be anything from a drum loop to a vocal phrase. In this example, we'll be using a vibey guitar riff that was previously recorded for another song. Let's take a listen. Sounds pretty good, but let's make it into something completely new. The first thing that we'll have to do is open up the sample editor window. You can do this by double-clicking on the audio region. Once the window is open, locate and press the button to enter transient editing mode. You'll now see that Logic has placed a bunch of markers where it thinks the transients in this audio file are. It usually does a pretty good job at this, but in some cases you'll need to manually add, delete, or move the position of some of the markers. Let's take a look at how it did. Okay, as you can see, Logic has placed a few too many transient markers on the audio file. An easy fix for this is to decrease the sensitivity of the transient detection. You can do this by pressing the minus button at the top of the window. Additionally, you can manually add, move, or delete markers with your cursor. Let's see how the transient markers look now. Looks pretty good. All the transients have markers correctly located on them. Now you can close the sample editor window, go back into your arrange window, and control-click on the region. This will bring up a menu for different audio region actions. Look for the submenu titled Convert and the action Convert to New Sample Track. You will now see a dialog box with a few different options for your new sampler instrument. In most cases, the default settings work great. Make sure that the Create Zones from Transient Markers option is selected, and note that the first sample will begin on MIDI note C-2 unless you specify otherwise. Logic will now create a new track with an instance of your freshly sampled EXS-24 instrument. It will also create a MIDI region with notes that correspond to the original placement of your transient markers. Let's open up EXS-24. The new sampler instrument is essentially ready to play. As you can see, if we just play the MIDI chromatically up starting from C-2, you'll hear the original audio file. However, the really cool thing this allows us to do is trigger each note or transient from the original audio file in any order we want. Hopefully this will help you find a creative use for some old audio bits you have lying around on your hard drives. Before we exit out of EXS-24, let's look at some recommended settings that will help your new sampler sound as great as it can. First, change the polyphony to mono, and increase the release time to its maximum. Now let's open up the instrument editor window. Here, select all the zones and change the playback from pitch to one-shot. Next, I recommend decreasing the end time of each zone by 10 or more samples. This should help you avoid catching the beginning of the next transient in your audio file. It's also recommended that you increase the fade-out time of each sample to about 10 milliseconds. This should help you avoid any clicks or pops that may occur at the end of your slices. Save and close the instrument editor window. Now that your new sampler instrument is ready to go, don't forget to have fun experimenting with EXS-24's built-in filters, envelopes, and modulation matrix. Most importantly, get creative and make something new. Happy sampling!